Welcome to the ultimate guide to ExoChips in Astroneer. This is all about useful information and tips to make your life easier. So let's get straight into it. Method number 1. ExoCaches. You can get ExoChips from ExoCaches by blowing them up. You can use dynamite to do this, but you can also avoid that, and we'll talk about it in just a minute. But first of all, how to find the ExoCaches. Basically, you just open up your compass, and once something green pops on it, that's an ExoCache, go towards it and you'll find it. Sometimes you'll find them underground, so you'll have to dig a little bit, but depending on the planet that you're on, that should be pretty easy or extremely hard. Once you find one of these, you're gonna need to blow it up. If you've got dynamite on you, that's great. You can place a dynamite on it and you're gonna get your ExoChips. If you don't want to use a ton of dynamite, you can gather multiple ExoCaches and blow all of them up with a single dynamite. It might be useful to know that you can also place the ExoCaches on your rover or on the shuttle, so you can bring them with you. If you don't have dynamite, then you're gonna need to craft some, and that requires explosive powder. For that, you're gonna need 2 carbon and 1 sulfur. Carbon is pretty easy to get, we've got the tappers, so that's it. But sulfur you're only gonna find on Calidor and Atrox. And just a quick suggestion, go to Calidor. Number 1, because the sulfur is more concentrated there, so you're gonna get it easier and use less power. And number 2, Atrox is much more difficult. So yeah, just go to Calidor and get your sulfur that way. If you don't want to craft dynamite, then you can also open ExoCaches other ways. For example, you can use the catapults. These will throw an explosive ball at you. So if you just place your ExoCache next to you, then they throw it and then you run away, it will explode the ExoCache and you won't need to use any resources to blow it up. You can also do this with the volatile Attactus on Atrox, the one which shoots explosives at you. Basically anything that blows up. You can also place gases on a smelter and that will also blow up, but that requires to craft a smelter and you're gonna lose resources that way. So just stick to the plants or craft the dynamite. Alright, method number 2. Trade platform. Yes, you can easily get ExoChips at the trade platform. You don't have to get out of your base and you can get a ton of them. This is how to trade for ExoChips. Scroll down to the Astronium page on the trade platform and the first thing you'll notice is the ExoChips. You're gonna need 3 Astronium for 1 ExoChip. So make sure you've got a ton of Astronium if you want multiple ExoChips. Now, if you don't know how to find Astronium, just go down in the caves and mine until you reach the core layer or the mantle right above the core, and you're gonna find a ton of Astronium on the ground there. You're probably gonna need some drill mods because the terrain gets harder as you go down, but once you're there, it's pretty easy to find Astronium. Now, if you need a lot of ExoChips, I would suggest that you automate your Astronium. And before we get to how to use the ExoChips, you might want to check this video out. It's all about automated Astronium collection, so this way you're gonna get a ton of Astronium, so you'll get all the ExoChips you need. Now let's move on to how to use ExoChips. You can see all of the things that you can craft with them right here, and most of these are mid to late game items, and they're gonna come in extremely useful. You will also need to use ExoChips in some missions. This will lead to you unlocking the VTOL and the hoverboard, which are 2 of the best vehicles in Astroneer. So ExoChips are really important and you can use them for a lot of things. If you really want to, you can also shred them for scrap, but I don't think that's a good strategy. Just keep your ExoChips. You might need them later. And if you only have a limited number of ExoChips and you want to craft something good, then I would suggest starting with the large rover and the auto extractor. After that, you can also go for the large shuttle, the hoverboard, and even the XL shredder. But if you want to learn even more about the other resources you're gonna need to craft these, then I suggest you go watch this video next. It's all about advanced resources in Astroneer. So yeah, click on it and I'll see you there. Cheers, Astroneers!